So when you type ivermectin into Google, here you have the Merck statement on ivermectin using the drugs. Just very high up, very disingenuous, no scientific research release, just a really disingenuous, says that it's not safe. It's been taken by 4 billion people, and that will scare people. But 4 billion people, and then you've got doctors all over the world, frontline critical care lines, telling us how safe it is, the history of it, and here you have Merck not just able to be a multi-billion-dollar industry and able to release this, and their statement to be so high up. If I type in ivermectin medical research, this Lancet journal, right, that lots of people keep quoting to me, comes up here, and fascinating. Look at this. Show all authors. 23 authors. Jesus, none of them contactable by the doctors or scientists looking for feedback or answers about it. What I would as a basic person studying maths and statistics, wondering how you can get 23 authors to all speak on behalf of a trial with 12 participants. 12 participants. How is that even significantly anything? Anybody who studies stats? And yeah, we have studies with medical health professionals who signed up and took 788 of them took ivermectin, health professionals, nurses, doctors, and 400 didn't. And this study, peer-reviewed, double-blinded, excellent results in its efficacy, doesn't come near 1,200 participants, but a study with 12 participants is that high up in Google search. Interesting. But, lots of great work. This guy here, Dr. Bean, right, he has over 1 million viewership on YouTube, 250,000 subscribers, a channel for 10 years. He covers everything medical. He's a medical lecturer, and he interviews the frontline critical care lines workers all the time, and they work on ivermectin and reviewed their work and stand up and reviews all these studies. 40, I think it's up to 40. I'll go in and get the updated. It changes every day, the random control test, but just let's say the highest amount of random control tests has happened on ivermectin. But the biggest thing is the world data that exists on this, and it's massive safety, right? So that alongside the vaccine can be used. And just for a lot of people, there's so much work being done by people, right, and being researched. This other guy, J.J. Chamey, he really is leading the field and I suggest people go look at him. J.J. Chamey is data analysis, and he has all his stuff up in here, right up here in this public profile page, right? And he goes through one of his major published ones now is, look at this, all the data, different countries. You can click into them. India, Haiti case study, Peru, Mexico, Colombia. Okay, and he goes into the data, just for example, if you're in here on the India one, he looks at when ivermectin was introduced back in August in Uttar Pradesh and how the deaths come down. But he makes sure he looks at the mobility data. So does it correspond with a lockdown? Well, no, here they are. Google mobility. People are going to the workplaces. People are going to the parks and the death rate is coming down. Excellent work. He looks at Delhi at the top. He looks at Uttar Pradesh. We've got massive world data that people are really putting together. And his data comes from John Hopkins, is it? But he referenced all of his data, and I went back and I looked and I typed in the exact same thing, looked at daily cases, etc. And you get the same stuff. You can go back to his sources. All this stuff is verifiable. His Peru study is excellent and it's been published. So I suggest people follow him. But the Frontline Critical Care Alliance, I think, and I've seen, and so I have been quoting it, are up to now people who support their work, and I'd say it's grown every day, is over 7,000 doctors, critical care lines. And I've heard people say, oh, if this was true, doctors would speak out. But they're screaming out about ivermectin. But they need a platform, and that's why people like Dr. Bean, who have a massive platform on YouTube, have been instrumental. And Trials Like News has done a lot for, breaking down their data and Whiteboard Doctor to make it really digestible for us. because some people say, oh, video. But I watch the videos and the breakdown, then I go back into the actual medical report. And I think it's worth people seeing this. And I just think it's so, so important. And looking at ivermectin and the top, quote and stuff, and the latest, getting your data. What I often do is go in and type ivermectin India. If I hear if there's stuff there, you get your top. Like they keep saying, the situation in India is puzzling, but over 600 million of the population have taken ivermectin. You can go in, and sometimes I hear photos, and there's the kits putting out, deaths normalization. It's looking at the India here versus the global. Like there's India down there, there's the global. But like I found the pictures interesting because you could see the kiosks. I've also gone into newspapers and translated them, gone into Google out here. I'm just telling people how to wait, not just to take one thing. I could type in here ivermectin. And say I was doing India, because each day I look, there's 21 countries now. Don't send yourself in every which way. And I can hit news, I can hit tools, I can hit in the last week what's happening, what's changing. Because if I notice a change in the trend, I want to know, is that a shortage? Is something happening? Because I found out that, like for example, Slovakia. So if I do I do these inverted commas, it'll only show you stuff that has both of the words. All right, and there you go. Study finds use of ivermectin to treat coronavirus could be detrimental to patients. Go in and have a read of that. Dr. Wire, you can get stuff. But looking at local newspapers as well has been very important, and if I could sometimes write ivermectin. I know there was kiosks, didn't show up because I have the last week, but if I just say past year and does it come up, 15th Marquee set up for COVID-19 testing, set up for distribution of ivermectin, and that's back in August 20. So look, people need to go on and research what's out there on this and listen to the medics and doctors all across the world, but look at the massive world data and just ask for a debate on this. It's working and people are dying, and every time the debate doesn't, and we don't see the urgency of looking at this, we are not the mass population in Ireland going to be vaccinated in the next month, 2 months. That's not a reality. So we have to be looking at repurposed drugs, and this drug is generic and it's 2 cents, on the World Health to produce. So we do need to be looking at these sort of things. So I just urge people off and just giving the guidance for people to do their own research, because there is no other drug out there. I've done this for other drugs that have the data and the efficacy that ivermectin has, in my opinion.